Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. I love it. Okay. So it's called Books. And so it's a very cute little sort of bookshelf holder thing where the dividers to hold up the books are shaped in the sense in like wooden pencils. It's a weird way of anyways, it's a nice little cute little way of creating this bookshelf holder thing. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, let's say 10 books in it. The Jinx of Payrock Canyon, Taddy Lou. I'm just trying to read some of the things. The Bobbsey twins at Meadowbrook. Yes. So it's in somebody's house. Yeah, look, is it behind in the background? Maybe it's somebody's house or a store actually, because there's like a shisha.
It's actually an antique store.
There we go. Yeah. So there's a shisha there with the price tag. There's a price tag on the desk. These books. Okay, why this photo?
I think it's because when we just happened to be going through there. That's one of the first places we walked through when I moved to this town, and I just have always loved books, old books, new books, old books, paperback. They have a smell. And it's always that you walk into a bookstore and I'm bad. I just stand there and breathe for a couple of minutes and then I actually go look. But used books are the best. So I love to go into old bookstores and just those ones just happen to come into our path that day. So.
Yeah, like the universe said, okay, here are some books for you to look at. Did you actually buy one of those?
I didn't. No, we just kind of were walking through that day, and well, I'll go back another day because there's always new stuff in an antique store.
Sure. Okay. You have kids. How many kids do you have?
I have 3 kids. Yeah.
3 kids. Well, respect. 3 kids. Amazing.
3 boys, no less. So yeah.
Yeah. Respect. Triple respect. Any of them have the same kind of itch, passion, sort of focus around books, reading, writing?
My oldest he loves to read, but and when they were younger, they would do some writing and stuff. There's a couple of them with a lot of talent, but at this point in their lives, they've just kind of shelved it, and they might come back later on, and once they get older or something, and say, I still have this story in my head from when I was 10. So I'm going to do something with it. So we'll wait and see.
You're a Canadian author. What can we, okay, so one of the things so I was thinking about this because a friend of mine went to Australia, and her being in Australia kind of reminded me of just these massive landscapes where everything's separated by huge distances. Big open spaces of fauna and solitude and all these things. And I just came back so now I'm in Hong Kong. I was in Canada this time last year, roughly. And I spent almost a year away from my daughter and my wife here in Hong Kong. So how can you how would you put into words that thing about being Canadian that makes being a writer different?
That's kind of tough too. It's interesting you were saying all that because, as I said, I just moved I was born and raised in Alberta, moved to Ontario. Literally a month ago, I had all of my earthly belongings and my 2 cats, and we drove from Toronto area to Calgary. And solitude. Oh yeah.
So for somebody who doesn't know Canada, what is that distance roughly?
Well, it was about 36 hours of driving. So just under about 3,500 kilometers for those who speak kilometer. So
let's say 3,000 miles. Yeah.
So basically for me, it was about 4 8-hour days and 1 5-hour day of driving.
Right. Wow.
That's not little breaks. That's just in the car and
Just
driving
driving. Yep.
with
Yep.
a cat beside me howling at the top of his lungs. Just, yeah.
That's funny.
I don't recommend it.
Look, a few years ago, flew back from Hong Kong to Victoria. No, actually to Vancouver. And I brought with me 2 dogs and 2 cats. It was just me. And then brought the 2 dogs and 2 cats to Victoria where I was staying. And it was just me. And several panic attacks later, back in Hong Kong.
Yeah, panic attacks kind of sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Sure. Okay, so who you are, for whatever reason, leads you to being a writer to tell stories. And in your case, mystery. Cozy mystery. Cozy is a funny word to use. Okay. It's like meat and potatoes. It's like sit on the sofa, get a good blanket, and just read a nice, sweet mystery.
Exactly.
So sell your most recent book. Like, what is it called? Tell me more about it.
Absolutely. My latest book is called All That Shimmers. It's the 3rd book in my Glitter Bay Mysteries. And the short form of it is the main character's ex-husband. She finds him dead in her back courtyard. And she kind of has this urge to figure out who did it before the local police decide she's done it. And even though she had no idea he was even in her house or on her property. So there's a little bit of her kind of going back and soul searching her relationship with him and everything. And then a lot of her past comes back to haunt her in that book. But as always, there's some fun moments. There's some bad moments. So, and it's a fun mystery. And I had a lot of fun writing this one. So
Nice. If you can hear a dog yelping, it's because we have lots of dogs, lots of cats. So the age, like when you're writing, do you have an age bracket in your head? Like in terms of, like, at this point, is the form, is it basically a tone? Is it basically a kind of, because in a way, it's like you've built this mastery where your brain kind of just goes immediately, okay, so it's going to be a little bit more efficient as far as writing the narrative. But how clear are you in terms of the ultimate reader in your mind?
one of my things is I always write books that I would love to read.
Right.
So, somebody like I have friends in their 20s and on up to I have a lovely lady in her 70s who just loves reading them. So
Nice.
my readers are kind of all over the age brackets and and any genre or any gender as well, because I have like a couple of transgender friends who just adore them and a few male friends who are like, okay, when's the next one coming? Come on.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, absolutely. I think if that's what it's a funny thing to write and to kind of construct a story. And in this case, it's going to be fiction with threads from your life. Then to have somebody kind of resonate with it and go like, wow, yeah, that really kind of evoked something. And it could just be entertainment. It could just be pleasure. It could just be like, this is how I wind down.
Yeah.
So how many books in the can do you have at a time?
You know what? Having just moved, I will have to sit down and relook at all that. I have, let me see, I have 4 series that have been on the go. One I just wrapped up last year. And then the other 3, I think one of them will be wrapping up. I'm just not sure if there's 1 or 2 more books left in that series. That's kind of I have to figure it out before next June.
Yeah, okay.
Deadline. And then,
really?
Yeah. And then I have another one that's coming out next September. And that's a Canadian historical mystery that's set in Ontario. So
So for the person who's not in that world, is there like the seedy underbelly of the book writing world, where the contracts you have are just so difficult, and the people you work with are so demanding, and there's like this torment and gossip, and it's like, I must read a book. Or is it a little bit less dramatic?
You know what? I've been at both ends of things. Like
What?
I have had a publisher who was a little on the dramatic side and ended up giving back all my rights and going, I'm not doing this because she didn't like a, you know, yeah. It
Okay,
was one of those, and I just went, okay, that's fine. And
time to move on.
well, the funniest part was this was at 10 to 4 on a Tuesday, and I got the message saying that they were going to release my books. They were not going to publish them anymore. And I was like, oh, man.
Oh,
And I'm having a moment, and I'm like, 10 minutes of what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then I left work and I walked home. And by the time I got home 15 minutes later, I had a plan. And I
nice.
reached out to a Canadian publisher who has been publishing my books for 10 years now. I've been working
Nice.
with them for 10 years. And they were like, oh, yeah, send us your books. So
Wicked.
less than 24 hours later, I had a plan. We already had a plan to redo them all. And they came out the
That's great.
following, a few months later.
Okay, so talk about that idea of, or the struggle, or the process of, because writing a book is such a solitary experience, and then you want to get it published, so that means of knocking on doors and dealing with rejection. I mean, maybe you haven't had to deal with a lot of rejection. What's your relationship to no?
I remember I said before, I was really lucky. I managed to get an agent early on, and she helped me develop the first book, we went through the door knocking, and she was
Mm-hmm.
kind of at the point, it's like, well, maybe we should just give up. But she goes, I have a few more ideas. One of the ideas she had was with the publisher I'm with now, and been
Okay,
with them for 10 years now, and I'm actually starting work for them now that I've moved here. I will be starting work for them in the next month. So it's
oh,
very, very full circle kind of thing. So I'll be
that's great.
starting to look at new writers and stuff as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, but it was very kind of cool. Like, I mean, we lost that other publisher. My Canadian publisher was great. They took the books that I had a publisher in California, and she just kind of went through and she did a hack job with a bunch of authors she had with her. And a few of us were kind of going, I don't know what's happening, but okay. So, yeah, I brought my books here, and they've been doing really well. And I've just had nothing but good since then. I did part ways with my agent, mostly
Mm-hmm.
because Canadian author working with a US agent and a Canadian publisher
Mm,
caused her a lot more headaches than she expected.
sure. I believe it. I believe it. Okay, well, before we move on to the next photo, you have a website, I imagine?
Yeah, it's super easy. DianeBator.ca.
Okay, wicked. DianeBator.ca. So, is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So, if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it raw.